Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. CD reveals shocking Cowboys fans' opinion in video going viral. Frisco, the Dallas Mavericks' stunning trade of Luka Doncic last week bookend what has been a miserable year for sports fans in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. That move spurred the greatest uproar, but more egregious occurrences have arguably come out of the star. Just over a year ago, the Dallas Cowboys lost in embarrassing fashion to the Green Bay Packers in the NFC wildcard, following one of their best regular season campaigns in recent memory. An all-in offseason promised followed and never came to fruition. Cowboys brass dragged out contract extension talks with stars Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb before an injury-riddled 2024 season ended with the team going 7-10. The Mavericks' ill-advised trade provided some temporary reprieve, but Dallas fans are starved to see their football team to simply reach a conference championship game. Those aspirations intensified watching the Washington Commanders and Philadelphia Eagles battle for the NFC Championship in January, with the latter emerging victorious before going on to win Super Bowl 59. Altogether, it represents a pretty miserable period for this contingent. This week, Lamb found a way to somehow salt the wounds a little bit more. In an interview posted by digital creator Katie Feeney, Lamb sheepishly confessed that the Eagles had a more passionate fanbase than his Cowboys. "Eagles, they're crazy," he said. "Our fans are deep, but I don't want to say nothing crazy, but the Eagles got it." Admittedly, it is somewhat of a harmless comment as Eagles fans have certainly shown their craze and fervor following their team's Super Bowl victory. However, those comments could not come to the ears of Cowboys fans, and likely many Dallas fans, at a worse time. A poorly timed comment does not define Lamb's commitment to his own franchise though. In fact, Lamb has staunchly pushed back against the talks of a Micah Parsons trade, posting his disapproval of such a move to social media. He wants to win now and win in Dallas. That reality involves Parsons. So with that in mind, it is hard to question his loyalty to the star. Nonetheless, when the cameras are on, there are good answers and bad answers to even the most trivial questions. Here, Lamb slipped up with his rough admission. Related, Aikman reveals frank truth about Cowboys Schottenheimer here. Micah Parsons sends clear message to Jerry Jones ahead of offseason. The Dallas Cowboys have been going through some turmoil in recent months, and there is no indication that it will end anytime soon. First came their stunning playoff loss in last year's wildcard round to the Green Bay Packers. Then came the embarrassment that was this season, which saw them finish 7-10 and miss the playoffs. Dallas then followed that up by hiring Brian Schottenheimer, their offensive coordinator the last 2 seasons, to be their new head coach, and it was an underwhelming choice for a franchise that always wants to dominate the headlines. If the Cowboys are to become respectable again, let alone contend for the Super Bowl championship, next season, they will need reinforcements for their top-heavy roster. And star pass rusher Micah Parsons wants them to go for it this offseason, per Yahoo Sports. "I don't want to sit back and just watch other people build and build and build and, we, stay the same, so we definitely need some call to action," Parsons said. Dallas definitely has star power in Parsons, who made his 4th straight Pro Bowl this season, quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, but it lacks the type of supporting talent that is needed to become a very good squad. However, according to Over the Cap, they don't have any salary cap space, so it will be difficult for them to become real players in free agency next month. They gave Prescott a 4-year, $240 million contract extension and Lamb a 4-year, $136 million deal a few months ago, and Parsons is due an extension of his own, which will only complicate their efforts to improve their roster. Former Cowboys player claims Dallas needs to trade Micah Parsons. Dallas Cowboys star edge rusher Micah Parsons has been the subject of trade rumors over the last few weeks, with reports surfacing that the franchise has even had internal discussions about the idea. All of which comes after Parsons, who is due a major contract extension in the coming weeks, expressed his desire to stay with the franchise, and even take a pay cut if need be. However, that has not stopped media pundits from using their platforms to try to push the narrative and boost ratings. Which is exactly what former Cowboys defensive lineman Chris Canty did on ESPN on Wednesday. "I can't believe I'm about to say this," Canty said on ESPN. "The Dallas Cowboys need to trade Micah Parsons. Putting aside the idea that Parsons is a generational talent, a top 3 player at his position, and one of the most feared defenders in all of the NFL, there are reasons that moving on from Parsons could theoretically make sense. Given that his contract is expected to be quite hefty, it would be rational on paper to move off of a player like that if you're a franchise in the midst of a rebuild. That said, the Cowboys are not in that mode. Not even close, as a matter of fact, following the extensions handed out to Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs. So then, if that is not the case, why is Canty suggesting a Parsons trade? Apparently, he believes Parsons is a detriment to the Cowboys culture. More, 2025 NFL Draft Sleeper would love to play for Dallas Cowboys, make history. You don't get closer to winning championships by getting rid of those players, typically, Canty continued. But when you got somebody that has been as vocal as he has, that has, at various points, gotten himself into trouble with his podcast, saying certain things about his teammates, about the league, leaving guys out of lists when it comes to top-rated quarterbacks. There's an opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys this offseason to show the rest of the locker room that our culture matters. Is Parsons outspoken? Yes. Does that come with controversy from time to time? Absolutely. However, claiming culture and locker room issues based on that is an argument that holds no water for a multitude of reasons. Not only is Parsons one of the more beloved players in the locker room and one of the unquestioned leaders of the team, but he is also one of the hardest workers. That's not even taking into account the aforementioned talk of pay cuts and wanting to stay in Dallas.